Hello, how's it going? So I have an interesting one, or what I find interesting one today. I saw a guy's video about a week ago about his wheel collection, and I thought, you know what, I've got a lot of wheels in the shed. I think I'll make a similar video. So got about 6 sets of wheels to show you, 5 or 6 sets. You would have seen me pulling a few of them there out of the corner and bringing them outside. So we'll start off with some of the more basic ones you might have seen already, and then we'll bring out the heavy hitters and give you a look at those. So the first set of wheels, I bought these about 2 years ago maybe. A girl on Facebook was selling them. They're Volk, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, racing mesh. It's 2 faces, 4 barrels, 14-inch faces, or 14-inch wheel, so a 13-inch face, or whatever way you work it out. They come loaded with dust and bird shit. To be honest with you, I bought them because they were cheap. I might put these up for sale because I'm not going to do anything with them. I had potentially thought about getting a set of barrels, even just 2 barrels, and doing powder cutting those centers gold, making them the same spec as what's on the lowrider, and have the Volk racing mesh on the back and the SSR mesh on the front. But I don't think I'm ever going to bother with it, so I might put them up on Facebook or something like that. Or if you're watching this and you think you might be interested in them, give me a shout. They would be incredibly cheap because I paid next to nothing for them. But yeah, they're a nice looking wheel, classic kind of 80s 90s sort of style. Still fairly common enough, I think, from what I've seen, at least anyway. You could build them into big wide bad boys if you wanted, but yeah, so start off basic with those. Let's move on. Okay, next set on this run through is the wheels on my daily Type S Accord wagon. They are a factory Euro R wheel, 17 by, I think, can't remember if it's 7 or 7.5, with a 20mm, again I can't remember, it's either 20 or 25mm spacer, just to bring them out for that nice fitment. Could be a touch lower on top of that one, but the back sits, or the front, sorry, sits really nice. As much as I'm not usually a fan of a factory wheel, they do look really nice on it. Kind of an OEM plus sort of look, I suppose, especially with that colour too. But yeah, nice wheel. Got those very, very cheap, considering that they were freshly powder coated at the time. There's no damage or anything like that to them. I had to get a couple of center caps for it because the ones that came on it were knackered. But yeah, a really, really nice, as I said, factory wheel, and a very like OEM plus look to the car. Not what I would normally run on something like that, but I'll show you why I have those on it instead. Okay, one of my favorites for sure. One of my favorite dailies I've ever had. Now the next ones, if you've seen any of my videos before, you've seen these beauties. These are my SSR mesh. They have had quite a bit of work done to them, to be honest, aside from the custom engraving there and I did last year. If you haven't seen any of that, if this is the first time you've seen any of my videos, I did all that myself by hand about a year ago. There will be a link to the video how I did it down in the box there for you. But really, really clean set of wheels. I adore them. Fresh powder coated again last year when they were rebuilt by Italo Powder Coating in Dublin. All fresh hardware all around here. Reproduction caps from some dude in Russia. Actually a really, really, really nice job. I think there's 2 style of cap for those wheels. I think one is a bit shallower, it's probably roughly ends there where the shadow is, and then there's these ones. So I'm not sure how accurate they are to the real thing, but either way they look good. The sticker looks good. I've googled the real thing and they look damn close. They are a 7-inch wide there, or sorry, 7.5 there, and 7 at the back, just purely to clear the arch when the car drops. And they're on a, I don't remember, I think it's a 155/45 or something like that, then, with the little fake white wall. But excuse me, definitely gives it the look. One of my favorite wheels for sure. Just in general, I like small wheels just as much as I love big monsters as well. But yeah, SSR mesh, custom engraved, I guess you'd call them. Okay, that's the small stuff taken care of. Let's move on to the heavy hitters. first that you're going to see. So these are a set of SSR. They're called a Varden Sport is what it says there, but I've seen them online listed as Varden Schwartz. So what I think it means is, I think it's similar to the way Work do the VX, or the VS, say there's the VSKF, XX, MX, VX, SS, stuff like that. So I think SSR have a Varden whatever. So I've seen a couple of different versions of them, and like different sizes, different styles, but they're all called a Varden something. So I think it's similar to the way the Work do it. These ones in particular, I got brand new in the box, new old stock from JDM Distro in 2021, I think. They are an 8.5 and a 9, or is it 8? Maybe it's 8 and 8.5, I don't remember. Plus 35. They're really, really nice looking wheel. Like, mesh wheels are one of my favorite styles for sure. Like, they're the same as a lot of things. They're essentially the same as the XXs over there. They're almost the same as the BBSLM, Algoron Intellis, any of those kind of wheels. They're all essentially the same thing, but these are that little bit more unique in that they come with the gold hardware from the factory. They come with a really cool little valve cap there with the logo on it, and they have what is called a DDC style lip. You can see the way they normally on, say, for argument's sake, the VSKS there, it's part of the face. This is kind of, it's bolted from the back, and there's a concave in the lip for the bolt, if that makes sense. And if I remember, I researched it before. I think DDC stands for, it's like dimple dish concept or deep dish concept, something like that. I think it's dimple dish concept, something like that anyway. But beautiful, beautiful wheel. I adore them. They fit really, really nice on the wagon. They what I had on it from the start. A touch too wide at the back, but not enough to really worry about. But the reason they're not on the car is because of stuff like that. They've gotten really, really oxidized, and the chrome has started to lift off them, and even on the face there, or the whatever you call it, the cover for the wheel nuts has all started to lift. Now, to be fair, that's kind of my own fault too. I bought them, I think in October of that year, maybe, or even November, and I just ran them through the winter. I thought, fuck it, yeah, so what, I'll drive them. And maybe it's just a combination of the fact that I did that, and also that they were sitting in a box for I'm not even sure how long. As I said, I got them off JDM Distro. They were in a warehouse in Japan for who knows. They could be 10 years old, 15 years old, I have no idea. They might be 1 year old, I don't know. But either way, I imagine the combination of those two things is why the chrome got hit so hard, in regards to the elements, rain and snow and frost and shit like that over here during the winter. But I do plan on popping those faces out, sending them off to Tala Powder Coat and get them redone in the probably just a normal silver again. They do like a chrome powder coat. I'm not sure how the actual finish looks on it, but either way, I think they're a beautiful wheel and one of my favorites for sure. I'm probably going to say that every wheel is one of my favorites, to be honest, but I guess it's because they are. So yeah, SSR Varden Schwartz 8.5 or 8 inch and 8.5, really nice. I think it's plus 38 or 39 offset, something to that effect. On what kind of tires are they on? 225s on the back, and is that a front one? And does it say 215? Yeah, oh yeah, 215 on the front, 225 on the back, so it must be 8 and 8.5. Yeah, anyway, right, let's move on. Okay, these, if you're familiar with wheels at all, or if you're a wheel snob like me, you will know straight away that these are one of the internet's favorites. VSKFs, one of my, again, I'm going to say it again, one of my favorite wheels of all time. I never really had or was that bothered by like having a real wheel. I was never really one of them people. There's just something about those that I just absolutely love, the look and the shape and everything. So I bought that set off a guy second hand. You can see the two at the back have tires on them, but they're probably 50 years old, those tires. They are 18 by 8 square, plus I believe it's 38 as well. It's like a front wheel drive size, nothing too crazy. Beautiful kind of, I don't know if that's a factory colour or not, but you can really see it in the sun today. It's like it's a very, very sparkly, like gunmetal kind of colour. Really nice. Normally I don't really like dark colours, and I like that colour on the wheel. I don't think I'd put that colour on a car. I'm not a big fan of the darker colours like that on the car, but just as a separate thing on its own, yeah, for sure. I think it looks lovely. If I was to ever run them, I would swap these out for the gold hardware, and I would swap those out for Work, do a black badge with gold what do you call it, letters, gold logo in it. I think they'd be really, on the right car, they'd be lovely. I bought those kind of just as a spare set, to tell you the truth, because the value of those things are getting higher and higher and higher all the time. So yeah, 18 by 8 VSKFs in a beautiful kind of sparkly, almost like metal flake charcoal color, front wheel drive sizes. A beautiful wheel, and yeah, a little bit kind of overplayed, I guess, like but everybody has them for a reason, you know, because they're a classic, they're a beautiful wheel. Okay, next set, my VSXX. I believe they're 17 by definitely 17 by 7. I think it's square as well, plus 38 or 39, something like that. Again, front wheel drive size. They are 4x114, which apparently is quite rare in that kind of size. Most of the time, if you see them in a big size like that and in 4-stroke, it's usually 4x100, apparently, so I was told. When I got them, I had to get a couple of center caps, and I had to get a few of the 90-degree valve stems for them. I got those from Driftworks in England, and when the guy was just making conversation on the phone when I was ordering, he was saying, "Oh, what are you putting them on?" Told him they were going on. They were originally bought for the Accord, for the lowrider, but obviously they're way too big for the style. But anyway, told him they were 114, and he couldn't believe it. He was amazed. He tried to buy them off me. Said for a Sylvia or so, I can't remember, something like that. But apparently, yeah, anyway, apparently 4x114 is quite rare in those. Not in terrible condition, but certainly not perfect by any means. The lips could do it in either being completely rubbed back and, you know, polished up again or something like that, but they're fine, you know, from 3 foot away, 4 foot away, they're fine. Faces were powder coated, reused the original hardware. This is the first set of wheels that I ever rebuilt, essentially from scratch. So they were taken apart. The paint was absolutely knackered on all 4 of them. Excuse me. Pulled them apart, had them powder coated in a place locally. They did a fantastic job, and it's held up really, really well. I suppose there's a couple of little cracks there, but again, these are in storage 13 months a year. They never really go on the car. Anyway, excuse me. Really, really nice wheel. Again, one of my favorites. A mesh. There's something about just that mesh style wheel that just, you cannot go wrong with it, in my opinion. You really, really can't. It's such a nicer style, such a versatile style. Like, they look good on pretty much everything. I've never seen a set of XXs look bad on something. Big cars, small cars, front wheel drive cars, back wheel drive cars, anything like that. I think they look really good. Absolutely fantastic wheel. One of my favorites. The heavy hitters. These are my favorite wheel in the whole world. I absolutely adore these things. Now, the center caps are put away inside because they're quite rare to get. There's valve caps that are work official valve caps that are put away safely inside because they're quite rare as well. But as you may have guessed, they're the same as those. They're a VSKF. They're the first ever set of real wheels that I bought. When I originally bought them, they were 18 by 8 plus, I don't know, 38 or 35, something like that. Again, front wheel drive size. And at the time I had a CL7 Accord, same as the wagon. They're just a saloon, and they look great on it. They look really, really nice, but they were just that little bit too narrow. So they were originally rebuilt to 8.5 and 9 wide or something like that. I don't remember off the top of my head. I bought a set of lips off a guy second hand. They weren't perfect, but they weren't great either. I mean, they weren't perfect, but they weren't bad. They were rebuilt and they were done in a kind of a rose gold sort of color. I'll put up a picture here, you can take a look. Or actually no, first time they were rebuilt they were still chrome. I think I have a photo of that, which you should see right here. Then they were rebuilt even wider again to something like 8.5 and 9.5. I'd have to double check, I can't remember for sure, to be honest, it's so long. But anyway, these were rebuilt 3 times in general, or in total I mean. There's a video, I'll put a link to that one as well, of when I rebuilt these as well. But for now, they are 18 by 10 and 9.5. If I remember that, it's 18 by 10 plus like 15 or something. I can't remember. They're a massive wheel, and they're 9.5 by I think 20 or so. I don't remember for sure. They are on, what have we got, 245s there, and I think it's 225. This side 215 there. Because I always like that stretched kind of look where you can just see a little bit of the lip sticking out. I always like that style. And then I kind of, to be honest with you, I forgot how big these fucking things. I mean, look at that, like, that's my hand. Like, I'm a grown-ass man, and that's my hand. Like, my hand would nearly fit across there like 3 times. They're massive. But yeah, 18 by 10 and 18 by 9.5. They were the perfect fitment on my IS250 I had a couple of years ago. Really, really nice. The red hardware, just to make it stand out from the gold, just something so different. Really nice. The only thing that annoyed me about when I had those done, and it wasn't the powder coater's fault, I guess it was just, you know, shit happens. That one and that one at the back there are, the two are the same shade of gold, whereas that one and that one are the same shade of gold. So when I was rebuilding them, I built a rear and a front with the same shade, and the other rear and front with the opposite, with the other shade. So you couldn't tell. But again, if you want to watch the video, you'll figure out what I'm talking about. But anyway, yeah. So I have the same as excuse me, the center caps in those. I have them here with the red and gold. I'm not going digging through to get them out now, just because they're extremely rare to get, quite expensive for what they are. But I'll put in a few photos, like the little valve cap and stuff like that there as well. These are my babies. I absolutely adore these wheels. The amount of time and money that I've put into those wheels, and they were rebuilt from scratch at least 2 or 3 times maybe. It's probably too sunny, you probably can't see me. At least 3 times anyway from scratch, and once kind of a half rebuild, I guess. But I mean, just look at them, like, they are absolutely beautiful. I absolutely adore them. They looked good on every single car that I ever had them on. Well, I only had them on 2, I guess, like, but they're absolutely fantastic. I adore them. One of the coolest looking wheels in the world. They will never ever be for sale. Let me zoom back out. There we go. I often joke with my wife that I'll be buried with those wheels, and kind of mean it, to tell you the truth. I feel bad keeping them in the shed. I feel like I should bring them inside and store them inside, but to be fair, the weather's been pretty kind to them. Actually, I didn't expect them to still look as good as they do. But yeah, definitely one of the coolest wheels I've ever had or ever seen in my whole life. Yeah, so that's it. Let's have a seat here and say goodbye. Yeah, so that's my wheel collection. Oh my goodness, the heat in here is incredible. Let's get back out. Fuck that. It's been really hot here the last couple of days, the last couple of weeks, I guess, so I'm not sitting in there. Yeah, that's my JDM wheel collection. I suppose, yeah, they are all technically a Japanese wheel, if you include the factory wheels on the wagon. Yeah, I hope you like some of them. These, I decided, yeah, fuck it, I'm going to put those for sale. I mean, like I said, if any of you happen to be interested in those, let me know. These you can pry from my cold dead hands. Those will never be for sale. You can pry them from my cold dead hands also. I'll get rid of those, and I'll get rid of those. They were cheap by today's standards, but still a lot of money. I think they were just under 2 G's or something like that. So if I was to get rid of them, I want to get fairly close to that. But again, I'm kind of a hoarder in that regard. If I have all these for the rest of my life, I'm totally happy with that. Absolutely fine. Also, we'll never ever get rid of those. Yeah, so wheel collection, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.5 6.5 sets, I guess you'd call it. Let me know what some of your favorite wheels are. I'm not I'm a big wheel guy, and I'm kind of a brand whore a little bit. Usually it's work or SSR or nothing. I'm not into TEs. I don't see the appeal of them at all. I'm not into the Blitz 03s, any like the big internet wheels. Nothing wrong with them. I just don't think they're super cool like everybody else does. But I guess I'm the same about a lot of things like that. Yeah, let me know what some of your favorite wheels are. Or let me know if there's a car that you think some of my wheels there would look good on, or something like that. Yeah, that'll do it. So thanks for watching. Follow me on all the usual places, and remember, I'm very delicious.